The CEI presents e-learning tutorials. Please enjoy it.
Hi, my name is Jason Jones, and during this e-learning tutorial, we'll be learning about effective presentation skills. Alright, goals for this presentation are going to include understanding how to prepare for your presentation, learning how to bond with your audience while you're presenting, developing confidence in yourself, and creating slides that have an impact, and points to remember during the presentation, and then finishing out strong. So first off, we're going to be talking about preparing. Preparing for a presentation. Presentations are not things you just step up and wing. You have to practice multiple times. You practice in front of a mirror, practice in front of friends, practice in front of family. The more you practice and the more you've done it, the more comfortable you'll be, and the more comfortable it'll be standing up in front of strange people you've never met before. Along with practicing, you need to make sure you're all prepared for the presentation, whether that mean printing off all your handouts, setting up the room a day ahead of time to make sure the room fits the way you want it to, doing a dry run the day before, and make sure that you're an expert on what you're talking about. Do some research beforehand. Don't just wing it and think that nobody's going to guess that you don't know what you're talking about. Dress up. Let's take the time to look your best. You're going to be in front of a bunch of people you've never met before. First impressions are always important, so let's try to dress up as best you can. Business professional is always a great way. Smile. You're going to make sure you're going to meet people as they're walking into the room. Directions is in telling them where to sit. Greeting people. Have a sign-in sheet. This is a great way for you to learn names and get contact information of people for after the presentation is done. Have a positive attitude. This is going to set the mood for the rest of the presentation. Be confident. Confidence is super important. Make sure you're passionate about your material. If you're presenting about your business or your product, I'm sure you're going to be passionate about it, so make sure that comes across in how you're presenting. This is a perfect example of what not to do with a slide. See how there's tons and tons of words on here. What's going to end up happening is people are just going to end up reading the words. Okay, and that's not what people want. That's not what we want. We want people to be listening to you talk, not reading the words on the slide. So let's try to create slides that are impactful. You don't want too much going on during your slides, but this is a perfect example of something that's just fine. They're simple pictures that people can understand. Some of the transitions are a little much, but this is a picture that's not good for a slide. This picture has too much information. Nobody can just glance at it and see what's going on. There's just too much going on, and people are going to end up staring at your slide and not listening to you. So keep the pictures short and sweet and to the point. So basic pictures, not too much going on. We want to make sure they're listening to you and not looking at the pictures. Set the stage. Don't just go up there and be monotone and speak. Remember when we were in school and we had the professors that all they would do is just go on and on and on and on, and you just lose attention and you lose focus. So make sure put in some jokes, or ask the audience questions, or ask the question and ask the audience if they have questions. Share a story. Personal stories are always great. Don't lose track of where you are in the presentation, but it's always nice to go on a little journey, and also create a common ground. Whether it be where everybody came from, the understanding of the troubles of starting a business, different things like that. Just make sure to set the stage. Eye contact. Eye contact. Eye contact is super key and important. Don't do the traditional, if you get nervous, just look back and stare at the back of a wall. That's not good presenting skills. Make sure to make eye contact with everybody in the room. Do it for a solid 2 to 5 seconds. Move on to the next person. You want to make sure everybody feels included and everybody feels special during your presentation. Use props and not distractions, so handouts, candy, pens, attachments, just different things like that. Make sure they're props and not distractions. Don't focus for too long on having them read the handout. You want the handout to be something for them to follow along with. Don't make a big scene about different things that you have up there with you. Just make them real easy and simple. Hand out the pens and be done. Something that you can go into, there's either a PowerPoint presentations or there's Prezi. Prezi is an online site that you can go to, and it's a really advanced way to make presentations. It's a simple way that looks really awesome, and it's completely free, and it should be something that you guys should definitely look into. Um, and it's a great way to have animations and images to portray your message. Have a strong closing. Have them call to action. You want them to feel empowered. You want them to feel excited about your product or your service. So make sure end on a strong note, and make sure you leave a lasting impression on the people that are listening to you.
This e-learning video was brought to you by the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at University of Memphis. Program Director Kelly Pingwell, Program Manager Angela Trillo, Technology Specialist Jacob Riddle, and it was narrated by Jason Jones.